This season on Survivor Pangea. At the beginning of the game, the 16 castaways were informed they would be spending the entirety of the game on one tribe. The game started fairly slow, with the overwhelming majority of the tribe voting out both Daryl and Julia. However, with every majority comes a minority. At the next tribal council, we saw the first big blindside of the franchise in Marcy going home in a plurality vote that was sure to change the course of the game. At the following tribal council, we saw the first ever tie in Reality Outcast between Sean M. and Steven, where Jesse and Evan both felt they did not need to go to rocks so early in the game, flipping their votes from Steven to Sean, sending Sean home in a 7-3 vote. At the following tribal council, Jesse was voted out, leaving what was then dubbed some as the Non-Face Alliance on the bottom of the tribe. The Non-Face Alliance, composed of Jackson, Steven, Sean, B, and EJ, were determined to cause some waves in the game in an attempt to blindside Dalton, which ended up backfiring and sending home Jackson as the last pre-juror. Once the jury started, we saw a shift in how people started playing the game. Players were quick to flip on the biggest personality and clear threat, Dalton, at the first viable option given to them, saving the remaining members of the Non-Face Alliance. After the departure of Dalton, a new threat had emerged, Drew. Two sides started to form at the final 8. The front-runners of the season, Drew, Simona, and Emily, and the underdogs in Steven, EJ, and Sean. Both groups fought hard for the other two remaining votes in Ryan and Evan. Evan, feeling betrayed by his former allies and friends outside the game, jumped ship and joined the so-called Non-Face Alliance. However, it was Ryan's thirst for chaos and excitement in the game that forced the tribe into a deadlock, throwing over half the tribe into a rock draw situation, where Steven ultimately pulled the white rock in the very first rock draw of Reality Outcast. Simona then went on a winning streak with her third individual immunity in a row, securing her 5th overall immunity of the season. At the tribal council, the two sides were once again at each other's throats, but this time with Sean in position of the hidden immunity idol and Emily's extreme loyalty being put to the test, things were finally looking up for the Non-Face Alliance. At tribal council, Emily had decided that she wanted to spice up the game and threw a rogue vote, giving the underdogs a chance to make it through the next round unharmed. On the revote, Emily once again saved the likeness of EJ by purposely not voting, giving up her chances at the next immunity challenge to send the tribe to a deadlock, where arguably the biggest threat left in the game at that point, Drew, became the second person rocked out of the game and the third member of the jury. At the next immunity challenge, Evan ended Simona's winning streak with a hidden immunity idol in his possession, and he was looking to make a big move. Before tribal council, EJ had plans to jump ship on his allies Sean and Evan and vote out Sean with Simona, Emily, and Ryan, in hopes of finding a new way through the game to the end. However, at tribal council, right before the votes were going to be cast, Evan gave his immunity necklace to Sean. With a little time to gather their thoughts, EJ and Emily both ended up casting rogue votes. Evan then played his hidden immunity idol on himself, creating a 2-2 tie between Emily and Simona. A revote occurred and once again resulted in deadlock tie, forcing the third straight rock draw of the season between EJ and Ryan, where Ryan was ultimately sent to the jury. Now, only 5 remain. Sean, the underdog of the season, has slowly and surely been building up an impressive resume, being targeted tribal after tribal, but will his target finally catch up to him? Simona, the challenge beast, as well as one of the main figures behind a lot of the early blindsides, will she be able to keep her alliance from turning on her? EJ, this outsider turned free agent, has been playing the game under the radar for a good portion of the game. Will he be able to build up enough of a resume to impress the jury in such little time? Emily, one of the most loyal players ever to grace the game of Survivor, even willing to go to rocks for her allies 2 times in a row. Will her luck finally run out? And Evan, this early top dog, was turned into an underdog at the start of the jury phase after being betrayed by some of his closest allies at the final jury vote. Will he be able to keep fighting from the bottom? Who will become the first ever sole survivor of Reality Outcast? Find out right now on the final episode of Survivor.
plan worked, bitch. So, um, Ryan ended up leaving. My plan was to get one of the three out. The three, as in Emily, Ryan, and or EJ, because they're a trio, and I'm not about to go to the final five with a motherfucking trio. You got me fucked up thinking that I'm about to sacrifice myself with the final five for them. Absolutely fucking not. I've already done that in Snake X Island. I'm not doing that here again. Um, but what was I gonna say? Fuck. Okay, also, I wanted to give up my immunity necklace to Sean because I know they were voting for Sean. And I wanted to see them scramble at the last minute. Also, I wanted to be dramatic. I wanted to be flashy and bold. And I get that they might not have believed that I, didn't have an idol in my back pocket, but I wanted them to be like, oh shit, we can't even vote for Sean right now because he's safe. And we can't vote for Evan because he's safe too. I wanted to be dramatic. Pure point blank.
So EJ went home, and I'm really sad because if I had it my way, it would have been Emily. But honestly, this is not that bad of a thing because EJ voted for me, and so it kind of warranted me voting for him. Now I don't have a bitter jury against me still. I really don't think any of them like have anything against me because yeah, Dalton did for a while, but he voted for me also the tribal that he went home, and then I tried to get Drew out, and he did get out. So that kind of works. Then there were three rock draws. Like what? like, so yeah, I don't know. I really wish EJ could have gone to the end with me. I really love him so much, and we worked together well in games until the end. Apparently, I keep voting him out on the third to last tribal council, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I really had fun working with him in this game, so I'm just hoping that I did make the right choice because I didn't really have another one, and yeah, final four.
Simona, so after trying for like multiple tribal councils, EJ finally went home. And I'm really glad I was able to get Evan and Sean to flip and not vote Emily, because at that point I knew obviously Emily and EJ were a duo, and I know Emily's gonna have more loyalty to me. Going forward in the game, I'm not sure what my path to the end is because I think different people have different jury votes secured. I think from this point, Evan will have Dalton for sure. Emily will probably have EJ and Ryan for sure. So I think as long as I can stay out of any sort of bad Final Four situation, I think Emily will want to vote with me, just because loyalty, and so we'll probably vote for Evan. But I don't know if they're gonna vote for me or if they're gonna vote for Emily at the end of the day. And I don't know. I think I've never seen Evan compete in a puzzle. I've seen Emily compete in a puzzle. She almost beat Zach in Fire and Advantage. She almost beat Brian in Fire in My Game. And I know she undersells herself a lot. So I don't know what this matchup is going to look like because I've never seen Evan in a puzzle. Obviously, he didn't win that puzzle immunity and Emily did. So I wouldn't be surprised if Emily won at the end of the day. I don't know if that's best for me because I think Emily has more secured jury votes than I do. But at the end of the day, I gotta do what I gotta do to survive and make sure that it's not me. If I were to just vote Emily out at Tribal Council, I would definitely lose her jury vote, so I can't do that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm
My
at.
journey to the final five has been very upsetting because rarely has anything gone my way. If I had it my way, most of the pre-jury would still be here. Marcy would still be here. Sean M would still be here. Jesse, Jackson, like these people would still be here, and it's so frustrating. However, I think with the hand and the cards that I was dealt, I think I've played an amazing game. I have won immunities when I needed to. I've strategized. I've gotten my name off the chopping block. The 2 votes that I've gotten cast against me were both nullified with idols. I literally gave up my immunity necklace at the final 6 for a game move. To sort of shake up the table. I've started drama. I've been outspoken. I've called people out on their bullshit. I deserve to win this game. Period.
Start this timer in 3, 2, 1, begin. Let's put you guys on gallery view. That'd be awesome. There we go. All right, and the challenge has begun. Everyone's starting off. Everybody's got at least their first cup except for Emily. Evan is already on his 3rd cup. Sean on his third cup, placing his third card, I mean. Evan and Sean both placing their fourth cups.
How is it already tilting?
EJ giving a little bit of a wobble. Simona placing her fourth cup.
Shit.
EJ on his fifth cup.
My hoodie strings kept knocking into it.
Sean having a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction. Gonna change up his style. Simona on her fifth cup, placing her next card. Emily catching up a little bit. EJ's got a nice tower, but is shaking a lot, and his cups fall. Evan's
How'd
cup
you say
falls.
that?
Simona is now in the lead with 6 cups. Simona. Emily's tower looking like a Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh, shut up.
Sean having to start over. Simona has a good tower going so far.
Bob, do not come in your room right now. I will murder you.
Emily's
Because I
tower
am
leaning
in
more
the-
and more. EJ's tower falls again. Emily's tower falls at the very last cup as her mom walks in. Hello, Miss Emily's mom. EJ's wobbling a lot. Simona's leaning over. She saves it though. Going back and forth. EJ's falls. Simona holding it up with all her hands, trying to get it adjusted right. A cup falls, but she's still got most of it up. Sean has got about 5 cups up. Emily's got 5 cups up. Emily's leaning a lot. Simona taking hers apart. Sean looks like he's playing in the sand.
I'm thinking.
I have 2 cups at the bottom, by the way.
2 cups at the bottom for Evan. He's going to take a stronger base. Remember, you have 52 cards, just about. Everybody should at least have 52 cards. You can use as many or as little cards as you want.
Wait, we can use as many cards as we want?
I said you've got 52 cards. You can use however many cards you need
I
to
could only put 1 in between each cup. Not my dumbass.
Days all completely falls down. He's going to have to start completely over. Simona trying out new techniques with her cards. Emily tilting a lot. You guys are a little over 5 minutes into the challenge. EJ opting for a stronger structure. Evans taking his part. Simona putting hers back together finally. Emily's still in the lead. She has about 6 cups right now. Still as crooked as Javen's back though.
Ooh.
Javen, I love you. If you see this, please don't be mad at me.
What's wrong with the poor guy's back?
I'm scared to put anything on mine because, like,
Emily, how many you got on there? You got 6 on there?
I have no idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Simona's got another stack going. She's got about 7 cups on, still wobbling a lot. Sean drops his entire stack. Emily leaning a lot. Simona is tilting a little bit. Evan building up a safe structure. Will it last? EJ's got a safe structure. Simona placing her 7th cup once again, trying to find that perfect balance. This is the perfect balance between speed while also making sure you're not going too fast and knocking it all over like Emily just did a few seconds ago.
Ice Queen.
Ice Queen indeed. You guys are about 8 minutes into the challenge. We've got 22 left. Evan's tower moving a lot. Emily's moving some. Sean starting all over. Evan drops his entire stack at 8 cups high. Has to get his cups from under the bed.
This is too much.
EJ, where are we at with you? 6. Emily and EJ both at 6 cups high. Sean still at 2. Simona at 3. Evan at 2. You guys are about 12 or 13 minutes into the challenge. Emily holding her stack from the very top, not wanting to let go. She is at 6 as well. EJ is over 6, I believe, working on his 7th.
I'm at 7.
Yeah, he's at 7. EJ's at 7. Evan is at 7. Simona is at 6. Sean moving fast. He's at 6. Working on his 7th.
Oh Lord.
EJ's got 7. Evan's got 7. Sean placing his 7th right now, making some adjustments. It's leaning a lot. EJ placing his 8th. Evan placing his 8th. Evan places his 8th. Evan's got 8.
Oh God.
Mona placing her 7th.
8.
Sean falling out of it. Evan stuck at 8, trying to figure out how to maneuver. Evan dropped something. EJ, going for another cup. Is this your 8th?
Yeah.
EJ placing his 8th. Evan's got 9 cups. Closest anybody's gotten in this challenge so far. One more and he wins. Individual immunity, guaranteed spot in the final 4. A lot at stake here tonight. With no idols left in the game, nothing else to protect yourself other than somebody else's vote. You want this immunity. Once he lets go, Evan on his last cup, he's got to get it free standing. He's got to step back from it.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And with that, Evan has a guaranteed spot in the final 4.
That was so...
Congratulations. As for the rest of you, one of you will become the 5th member of the jury.
Final 4, guaranteed. I won immunity once again. This is my 4th individual immunity win. I am super excited. I feel like at this point, I just have to win out all of these competitions. I do think if I was vulnerable, I would be most definitely getting votes tonight. And I think Simona would definitely vote for me. I think Emily would most definitely vote for me. She's the only person that has voted for me thus far in this game. Girl, I'm excited. Okay, so my plan for tonight is to get Emily out. I love that bitch. Ice Queen. But she will win this game. And also, she has not voted with me, like, at all in the past couple of tribals, so I really don't give a fuck. Okay, I just hope that I can get EJ to vote Emily out, and I kind of want Emily to be, like, pissed at him. So, that's my plan. Stay tuned.
All right, welcome back to Tribal Council. I want to first say congratulations to the 5 of you for making it to the final 5, honestly. Yeah, great achievement here. But ultimately, Evan, you have guaranteed your spot in the final 4. An even greater achievement. You were the only person. Did you feel like you needed it tonight?
I do. I do. I needed it. I don't know. I just feel like had I not won, maybe some shady shit would have happened. I don't know, but it feels good to be safe and know I am not giving it to anybody, and no, it's not a burden. So
Are you sure? I'll take the burden one more time.
that's fine.
I'll take the burden this time. Share the love.
I think no. My back feels so good. Like my current life could not be better. I really need something bad to happen to me.
Yikes.
Simona, we had another interesting tribal council last round with a third straight rock draw. Any potential for that happening again?
I mean, per the rules of Survivor, I don't expect another self vote and a revote. Is there a chance that it ties? Maybe. I think it depends on who's lying to who, and who's being honest with who. It could, in my eyes, based on how many people are lying, it could be 3-2. It could be 2-2-1. It could be 2-1-1-1. I could see all of those things happening depending on who's lying to who. I mean, I've been
1-1.
right. I've been truthful. It's just, I think, a matter of if other people also are, and if they're not, that's okay. You know, everyone's gonna do what's best for their game. But I think at this point, that's what everyone's gonna do, and so why not be honest about that?
Emily, with such a small tribe, you only need 3 people to vote in one direction for it to be a majority. Is there a chance that you're just going to have 3 people vote together, or is it still going to be as messy as it has been the last few tribal councils?
I mean, there's definitely a chance that 3 people will just vote together, but I don't know. I think since we've been here since the beginning, connections intertwine, and some people's plans might not go with other people's plans, and that could put people in a bad position. Like me.
Sean, she brings up a good point with the end game coming. Is there a lot of talk about what's going to happen in the end game? Who needs to sit next to who and all that?
I mean, like I say, you kind of asked me a question like that, not like this last time, but it's almost the same answer. Like, you really don't know. And I feel like I've been really open to the people that I've talked to this tribal just about like what we see is best for each other's games and like why one decision might be better than another. Especially when there's only 3 votes that need to go together to make a majority, but that can still be really difficult of a decision to make. Yeah, getting to the end is still very difficult. I don't know if I'm completely worried about who I'm sitting next to yet because we still have 1, 2, 3 votes to get through. I mean, we're not there yet at all.
EJ, in the last 3 tribal councils, there have been 2 sides because in order for it to tie, there has to be, half split votes. So is our sides, quote unquote, still in a factor at this tribal council, or has that all gone away and it's every man for himself at this point?
I think, I don't know. I would say that sides don't necessarily, they're not 2 sides that really stand. I think that there are just a lot of interpersonal relationships that I think there's a lot, everyone's connected. So you can have one side and then the next vote, it might look a little different just based on what people want to have happen that one tribal.
Okay, so everyone that is not Evan, how safe do you actually feel tonight going into tribal council, into the vote?
It's like a -5.
Not safe at all.
Like, as safe as I felt last tribal, and I got 2 votes, and that could be enough to send me home tonight, so who knows?
Same.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to say?
Yeah, I whispered to Simona.
Right. Yes, I just now saw that. I was about to pick it up and check who that was. Yes, Simona and Sean are whispering indeed. If nobody else has anything else to say, let's go ahead and get to the vote. You guys should have your votes in by 10:12. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. Person voted out will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately. I'll read the votes. First vote, Sean. Second vote, EJ. Third vote, Sean. Fourth vote, EJ. That's 2 votes EJ, 2 votes Sean, 1 vote left. And the 5th member of our jury is EJ. Tonight, 3 is enough. You have been voted out. Please say your final goodbyes.
Thank you all. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen. I respect all of you. You guys are all really great. And I just thank you all for making this experience as fun as it was. And I will catch you on the flip side.
Love you, EJ.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
EJ, the tribe has spoken. Please head on out.
Thank you, Josh.
He's the cutest person ever. I'm sorry.
And now we are down to the final 4. Your next immunity challenge will be tomorrow.
I'm so pissed off. He's like, what the fuck was that?
Face of a man that just got voted out, 5th place and 5th member of the jury. Honestly, this has been a ride and a half, and I've been super grateful this whole experience. I met so many amazing people. Some people I've probably hurt, which I really regret. Some people that, I've shared laughs with, and I embrace that. I thank Josh and Jack for asking me to be a part of this season. It's been incredible, and they've really made my first experience truly remarkable. And you know what? There's some things I would love to change about the way that I played this game this season, but you can't look in the past. I can only take what I did and work on it. I'm truly happy. And I'm just filled with love.
So EJ just went home, and at first I was kind of upset because Simona's going to have a person with her. But the thing is, it does not that big of a deal if I don't want Simona out next. See, the thing is, I realized if I get Emily out next, it's perfect, because then Simona and Evan will both think that they have a fighting chance to make it to the final 2 if they're staying next to me as the person that the final immunity winner wins. The thing is, though, if I throw the final immunity challenge, that's one person that I don't have to piss off. And also that way, I probably have EJ's vote because he's not going to have Emily to vote for. I might be able to get Emily's depending on if Simona wins. I don't know. If I'm with Simona, she might not vote for me. I probably definitely have Steven. So Steven and EJ, definitely that's 2. I only need 2 more at that point. I'll probably get whoever gets 3rd place also, and that just leaves 1 more. So there's a lot of swing votes, and there's still a lot of the game left to be played. But I really think that if Emily goes next, I have a fantastic shot at making the final.
This challenge is on. When you think you have it, let me know.
Okay, I just want to do this because I don't feel like looking through all. Wait, it's 25 by 25. That's literally 625 squares. Does anybody want to start at the top quarter? Someone can start like the middle. Someone else can start in the middle. Then someone else can start at the bottom.
Please. Sean is looking for help in the final 4 immunity challenge.
And then we can all unscramble on our own, but this is so unnecessary.
For real.
This is why I was saying you might want a little extra time.
Right, I'm gonna have to text my tutor. Finishing something. We'll talk to you in a bit.
I am for real.
So also, if a letter that you find does not have a little X and a number, that means there's just one. So yeah, you are looking for white letters. Everything else that is not a letter will be red. So, like I said, you can sit here and just look at your screen until you think you've got it, or you can go try to find your letters. The letters will make your job so much easier.
I reviewed it already. 5. What the
I just
fuck?
saw 5 also. I was like, what the heck?
Please.
I feel like some of the links might go to the same place. So
Oh my god, maybe. Oh my god, probably. He probably only has like a couple links, and the same X link is like to the same picture.
There's a
Maybe.
few links I just checked.
I'm surprised to see that people are helping each other out in the Final Four immunity challenge.
Hey, we gotta entertain ourselves. I'm not about to sit here
I
in
feel
silence.
like everyone should throw to me. Thank you.
Cackles.
I've got it to where you can't see each other's letters, so that if you want to type it in like the little info box below, you can probably do that.
Oh, I've already done that. Don't worry, Joshy.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Not
'cause-
Joshy.
Again, it's just one letter, but
I just want to make sure everyone knows that they have.
Is it the same letter that I have?
Right.
oh, there's literally all the ones I was just missing under one. Oh, well, not all of them. I guess it was half of them.
You should like give them to me. XL.
Let me figure it out first, and then I'll give them to you.
Or how about you figure it out and then you like DM me the phrase and then you give it to me and then we vote out Simona.
Good deal, good deal. Sorry, Simona.
It's clean.
She goes, huh? What'd you say, bitch?
right.
Okay, now I've got all of them. The only problem is I don't know what to do with any of them.
Give them to Emily Puff.
I need 5 more or something.
You guys are trying to make sure that your fire will not go out tonight at Tribal Council. This could be one of the most important immunity challenges of the season.
I hate you, Joshua. I hate you.
The X has 7 views. I don't understand.
Share. Wait 1 second. Okay, I got it.
Sean, say it.
Your fire will not go out tonight.
That is correct. Sean wins Final Four individual immunity, guaranteed spot in the Final 3. As for the rest of you,
I heard
Tribal
Simona
Council.
start to type and I started sweat. Or I don't know if it was
No, oh my god, I didn't have anything.
who was the person who started typing? Was it Buffs?
Evan was typing as well. Got about 3 words in. I think he heard the same clue.
So going into tonight, there's a few things that could happen. It's either going to tie 2-2 between Evan and Simona, it's going to tie 2-2 between Evan and Emily, or it's going to be 3-1, Evan goes home. Or it's going to be 3-1, Emily goes home. I guess 4 scenarios. Simona's not going to fire because she will beat Evan. Emily is probably going to go to fire against Evan. Evan's not going to go home because I'm not voting him. And then, so that leaves either A, Evan goes fire against Emily, or B, Evan goes home. I don't know which one I'm going to do yet. I think I know which one because I think it's better for my game because it basically guarantees me a spot in the final 2. Yeah, there's a possibility that it can look like I'm being dragged along and like keeping big threats in the game without taking them out. But hey, if it guarantees me a spot in the final 2, I think that kind of just shows that I did actually know what I was doing. So, probablemente it could be a good move, you know what I'm saying?
Sean won immunity and it sucks because I know that I'm definitely going to get votes from Emily and Simona. They're obviously voting for each other or voting with each other, and it's gonna most likely go to a fire making challenge. So I don't want to go against Simona against a puzzle because Lord knows that girl will win in 5 minutes. So I'm gonna take my chances with Emily and just hope for the best. If I go home Final Four, I will go home with my head held high. I'm very proud of the way that I played. So,
Welcome to the Final Four Tribal Council. One of you will become the, what is it, 6th member of the jury now. Congratulations, Sean. That will not be you. Tell us how you
Your
won this
fire will
challenge today.
not go out tonight.
Your fire will not go out tonight. That is correct. So I heard there was a lot of like working together, kind of like somebody had sent something and then people just in the challenge were just openly being like, oh, maybe if it's something like this, and like it makes no sense to me. So Sean, obviously you capitalized on that. Talk about that.
Well, the thing is, I was the one who originally was like, guys, let's work together. And everyone's like, no. And then
Nobody said no. We just went crickets.
Well, and like the thing was, whenever I asked that, I was like, no, everybody was helping. Like, well, it was crickets. And so I was like, okay, so like, yeah. And then eventually, I think it was somebody said, oh my gosh, there's no way that there's a different link for each one. And then I realized, oh my gosh, they just helped me without knowing it. And then I started telling people how far I was getting because I was like hoping it was gonna like psych them out. And then Emily's like, oh my gosh, we should like share answers. And I was like ice queen. And then I melted the ice apparently because I won. I melted it with my fire because my fire will not go out tonight. Full circle.
This is my fire, and it's a blunt.
Evan, I think you were actually the one who had mentioned that the links were repeating a lot for the X's. So is there any regrets for that, obviously?
Me.
Yeah.
No regrets to it. I mean, it was just something I said in the moment. I really wasn't thinking about it. I think I said something along the lines of, oh, I don't think he has a whole bunch of different pictures of X's going to name. So I don't regret it. It was just something that like I mindlessly said off the top of my head. Didn't think about it.
Emily, you did not enjoy the challenge. What was going on in your head while that was happening? Did you actually give up, or were you just actually trying?
A little bit. My ADHD, and I have ADHD, so like going through and actually having to remember, first of all, where I clicked and which ones, like which number I was on, and then like I'm dyslexic too, so I knew even if I got the letters, there was no way in hell I was gonna be able to do anything with the letters. So at that point, I just kind of was like, I'm fucked. And I knew I kind of needed this immunity. Obviously, my last, like, 2 of my closest allies left back to back, voted out by all 3 of these people. So I guess I'm kind of hoping for a miracle, kind of hoping for fire.
So do you think it is you tonight, Emily?
I hope not. I mean, like I said, I'm quite frankly hoping for fire, if anything.
So is that a possibility tonight? Are there people that are going to willingly let people go to fire, or is it something where I think everyone's, on board?
I think it's a combination. I've been in a position where my like one ask was to go to fire. I was like, just let me go to fire. That's all I want. Like, you don't have to vote to keep me. You don't have to vote someone out. Just let me go to fire. And so I understand where Emily's coming from. And I don't know, this game has been interesting. Different people have had different people's backs at different times. I'd say everybody left in the game has had my back at one point or another. And so it's hard to have to vote somebody out at this point. And you could argue that the fairest way to do it is to let them take it into their own hands and go to fire. So I don't know, that could be what happens tonight.
Sean, with immunity, I think you'll be a little bit more honest with me. Is there somebody that's in the middle that's going to be kind of that decision between fire or a unanimous vote? Oh, you're
you.
I was gonna say, yeah. I think it's me. I mean, like, I know what I'm going to do, but like, it's doesn't mean that like I didn't think about it. Like, I mean, we had 2 days to think. Like, I had 2 days to marinate in it because I don't have to worry about going home. So this is really the last step. This is the last time whenever I can really do anything to ensure that something happens that I don't know works for me. I don't know if that makes sense.
Evan, if Sean says he's the swing vote per se tonight, does that concern you at all, or is that kind of relieving somewhat?
Yeah, it concerns me. I mean, obviously, I think all three, or all of us, I think we could all vote not all of us, but 3 people could vote me out, 3 people could vote Emily out, 3 people could vote Simona out. So I think we all right. We all should be concerned going into tonight. But I do have a question. Is it always like at the final 4? Like, I don't know Survivor. Like, this is a genuine question. At the final 4, if it like ties, like, does it always go to fire?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Except for one season, but that's because they didn't know what to do.
The whole point that they made the fire making challenge.
Okay. I was just so confused about that. I was like,
so yes, if it ties at final 4, it goes into a fire making. Yes.
What they did the first season that
happened
at the final 4, it was the stupidest shit ever. They made everybody left draw. They made everyone except for, I think it was Vesepia who had immunity draw rocks. Like so if it tied between,
I think we should do that. I agree with that.
And the funny thing, the person that wasn't involved in the tie actually went home.
Yeah, it was.
I agree with that. I think we should draw rocks. I think that we should scratch the whole fire idea. I would love to test my luck in rocks again.
I was like
4th rock draw. That would be
yes, please.
It really didn't make any sense, but
right, it was just like why? But
it makes sense right now in this moment for me. Yes.
One of the 3 rock draws in Survivor history happened because they didn't have rules in place.
Right. Let's see. So, okay, out of everyone who's not Sean, how likely do you think it's gonna go to fire tonight?
I'm praying out of 10.
I think it's possible.
I think very likely, maybe. Very.
Creo que es posible. Todo es posible, Goro.
Well, if you guys are ready, you have 5 minutes to vote. You have till 9:15 Eastern Time Zone to vote. Okay. I do have the votes. Once the votes are read, the decision is final. Person voted out. He has to leave the tribal council area immediately. I'll read the votes. Emily. Evan. Emily. That's 2 votes, Emily. 1 vote, Evan. 1 vote left. The 13th person voted out. We decided by fire making challenge is 2-2.
Well, fire, I guess, but I.
So how this is going to work is I'm going to send a puzzle. Okay. Be ready. I am sending the link in 3, 2, 1. Begin. As soon as it sets, you are good to go. It is a 90 rotating piece puzzle.
Ew.
Yeah.
Me and Simona really iced, huh? Dude, that's like not even, that's like so rude. Like,
oh, 77. It's 80, so it's a little bit better than you thought.
That's
the shit is curved. The shit is curved.
I recommend doing it on your computer. That's mine.
So we're in the middle of this damn immunity challenge. Yeah, or not immunity challenge, fire making challenge. I cannot believe this guy.
Oh, piss off.
He has to beat Emily in a puzzle. Evan has to beat Emily in a puzzle. And he's not going to do it. I don't think he's gonna win. Like, the first of all, I am really scared because
I don't fit properly.
Emily seems like she's trying to throw off that she's doing well. Or the fact that she or it either seems like she's throwing off the fact that she is doing well, or she sent it to someone she's trying to act like she is doing it. Evan has ran and gotten a mouse, switched from a phone to a computer, and I'm like, not only is my game is literally in your hands. If Evan wins this, I have a basically 3-3 shot at making final 2. If he loses, it goes to 1-3, and it's if I win immunity.
I'm pretty sure I have the most votes ever. If I didn't,
No, I just have your placement.
Yeah, I never won. I think the highest I got was second place. And that
Wait,
was
did Emily? Jeff.
Congrats, Miss Thing.
You done? Hold on.
Yeah.
You finished?
You need to send it.
Yeah, she finished.
Yep.
I sent it.
All right. Congratulations, Emily. After what has it been? A long time.
Simona, how many did you ever get to?
Yeah.
I got to like 80 and then I gave up. Like the last pieces just were not doing it. I was like,
Yeah, the last pieces, the all black pieces, are horrible.
Well, after 40 minutes of fire making, Evan, the tribe has spoken. Excuse me, you have spoken. You have a few minutes to say your goodbyes.
Okay, so my goodbyes is I've actually had really fun in this game. I really don't have anything to say because I really don't care anymore. But I really just don't give a fuck that much. But I think you all have played an amazing game. I've tried to get Emily out multiple times, so she probably will have my vote in the end. Good luck, y'all. No further. Continues to do this. I want to fucking finish this though.
What percent were you at? What were you at?
I'm at 77.
Okay.
Please. Please.
Okay.
Well, Evan, the tribe has spoken.
It's all right.
Okay, so final 3. Congratulations, Emily, Simona, Sean. 2 of you will be making it to the final 2 tomorrow. We will be doing a challenge. We are going to have to put off as much time as possible for your next challenge.
I lost. I'm in the jury. Whatever, I roll, big ass I roll. But I told myself I would leave with my head held high at the final 4. I truly played this game to the best of my ability. I think had I gotten to the final 2, I would have been able to win, but it just didn't work out. The fire making puzzle was absolutely hard as fuck. I went against Emily. Emily absolutely killed it. Good for you. That shit was hard. It was rotating pieces, and then also the fucking pieces were curved. Absolutely fucking not. It was horrible. But I'm on the jury now. I can't be mad. I'm actually really happy that I even got this far. I thought I was gonna go home super early, but I'm here. Played a good game. Yeah, I can't be mad.
So Sean won immunity and we went to tribal and Emily and I voted Evan like I suspected and they voted Emily, which was good. That means that Sean was honest with me. Sean made it clear that he wanted to vote Emily instead of Evan because he thought Emily would take me to the end and Evan would probably take him. And it sucks because, I don't know, I feel like I'm probably gonna have to win this final immunity no matter what. But I really don't want to vote Emily out. I know she would be really hurt by that, but I also really don't want to lose to her. So yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely a little bit stressed, a little bit conflicted. Evan did go home. Emily won fire, also as I predicted. I don't know. It's a really tough situation to be in. I don't know who would vote Sean. I know who would vote Emily. Would I have enough votes to outdo that? I would hope so. I don't know. Definitely nervous. It would suck to have played this game so hard and then get to the end and lose. But I don't know. That's kind of how it goes sometimes. So really just gotta pray that I can win this next immunity and I can make the right decision. If I do vote Emily out, I probably lose her jury vote in the process, so I don't know. I don't know what to do. Was her winning fire best case scenario? Was it worst case scenario? There were pros and cons either way. It's a tough situation, but just got.
So, oh my God, Evan lost the challenge against Emily. See, the good news is I can probably win against either of them now. The bad news is that I could probably win against either of them now. So basically, I have to win the challenge tonight. I know I might be able to talk my way into convincing Emily to take me over Simona, just because Simona has played a phenomenal game. And hopefully I can play a card right with Simona in case, but the thing is, it's such a long shot for her to actually take me. I just have to convince her that Emily's going to be getting a completely different group of votes, and she's already got them basically locked in because, like, Simona in my games aren't really comparable to Emily's. Like, Emily's done her completely own thing, and this is how she wins. Like, she does this often, so it's not like it's out of the picture at all. Like, me, Emily, or Simona still could win this whole game. So, as for Evan, I'm really sad he went, actually, because I love Evan now. He was like my bestie in the game. Once all my other final twos got voted out, whenever Jackson got voted out, I was like, Steven, will be my final two? He was like, sure. Then after Steven got voted out, I was like, okay, Evan's my final two. And then Evan got voted out, and I'm like, okay, just someone take me to the end at this point, because every time I make a final two, someone they get voted out. Oh my gosh, so I don't really know what to do. I'm just gonna have to win this challenge tonight. That's like all there is to it. I'm fully planning on doing whatever I need to do to win. I've proven in the past this season that I can win challenges. I won 4, which is only 1 behind Simona, actually. And if I won tonight, I'd be tied for the most this season, which is kind of crazy. And I just hope I can do it. I really do. I want to win this game so damn bad. So
in 3, 2, 1, this challenge has begun. Congratulations on the final 3, but only 2 of you can make it to final tribal council. So, yep.
Or we could just make it a final 3.
No. That's not how this works. It would be a 6-person jury. We could split 2-2-2, and that would not be good for me because then I'd have to figure out how to do a tiebreaker for that. So
We let Jackson back in.
Yes. Jackson is the deciding vote.
I'll take it.
And on this island for 45 days, it comes
down to a water bottle and a solo cup. How long do you think you guys can last?
What I'm hearing is that I took notes for absolutely no fucking reason.
Dude, Smo, I had them also. I'm PO'd.
Joke's on you, bitches. I didn't take notes for nothing.
This is a pretty mundane challenge. Nothing really exciting about it. No lead up. There's no
Zoe, you cannot come in right now. I'm sorry. Zoe, I'm sorry. You can't come in.
You have to stay focused. You gotta dig deep.
Okay, Drew.
Find it within you to win this challenge. This is the last challenge of the season. All marbles. This could be what gets you the title of Sole Survivor tonight. Is getting to that final tribal council, getting a chance to plead your case to the jury. Never know. Never know what could happen. You want to be the one making that decision, putting the fate in your hands as to who you take to the final tribal council.
I'm more struggling with the fact that my hands are so damn bony than to keep it up there. Like I can feel my fucking bone in the damn Gatorade bottle, I swear. they slack through the cab.
I'm excited to listen to Emily talk about her bones for probably the next hour.
Hour? Dude, if you think I'm gonna be able to sit here for an hour, you're not.
I think people determined enough could go an hour at least.
Wait, my hand doesn't hurt at all. Like my
You must
arm-
have fat hands then. No offense.
No, I do have fat hands. I was gonna say my arm is as a whole is shaking and hurting, but my hand is good.
No, my arm is fine. It's my hand. Like I literally feel like my like bone is like inside the cab. It hurts so badly. Like I feel like I have broken the cab and my bone is just so damn bony that it's inside of it.
The disadvantages of being skinny, I guess. Turn my video off just so we can see you guys. Emily drops. It is now down to Sean and Simona.
Oh my god, no way.
Emily,
Good job, Emily.
My ADHD got the best of me.
What happened?
I should have left my door open because my like biggest problem was that I didn't have enough space in my arm.
Sean, what are you gonna do
What do you mean?
if you win?
I want to take you. I'm scared I'm gonna lose, but I think that I have a better shot against you than Emily.
I'm not throwing, but my water bottle is right on the edge.
Just because I know that here, okay, think about it. So EJ and Ryan are two votes that Emily will probably automatically
And
get.
Evan said he was voting her too. I know.
Oh fuck, I forgot about him.
That's three.
Okay, but Simona has Drew, Steven, and Dalton. Lot.
Steven and Dalton are not voting for me.
Yeah, they are. 100%.
Sean has Steven and he knows that.
I probably have Steven.
Mm,
Emily, I probably have Steven.
okay, well, Sean, if you get rid of me, I'm voting Simona. You know that.
Oh damn it. Oh, okay.
Sean has a big movement. Both Sean and Simona both on the edge of their cup. Simona shaking a lot, trying not to move.
Hey, I'm not that close to the edge of it.
Simona drops. Sean wins final immunity, guaranteed spot in the final two.
Look at that. Look at that.
I'm sorry. Congratulations, Sean. You've won immunity. I'm going to go ahead and end this call. Give you guys about a few minutes to.
Oh shit! I have to do that tonight. Oh my god.
Yeah, collect your thoughts, and then we're going to get back on tribal council.
I won final immunity. I cannot believe that I did that. Like going into that, I was like, you know, just do whatever you have to win. Like you can do it. And I was like, okay, here we go. And that whole competition, I was like, I'm never gonna make it, but I just kept going on and I kept pushing. Now I'm in a really tough position because I have to decide between someone who I think is going to be harder to beat or someone, but like she's been like my best friend, or someone who I think is gonna be easier to beat. And the thing is, if I want to bring Simona, I think that she deserves to win so much more than Emily does. Like it's not even a question in my head. But the thing is, I think Simona might. I don't know. Emily says she's gonna vote for Simona though, and like in my head, that only confirms it. Like that Simona played a better game because Simona never really said that she was gonna vote for Emily over me. I don't really know what my decision is yet. Like I've literally gone back and forth so many times because this is why I wanted Emily out in the final four, so I didn't have to make this decision. But because now no matter what I do, they're both gonna be mad at me. They're like, oh, I'm like, what was I supposed to do? Because the thing is, if I lost, I was probably leaving. Like I feel like I was. Maybe I wasn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Before you start typing, yeah. But I don't know. It just. In my gut, it's saying vote Simona, but like my head saying vote Emily. I don't know. Like if if I bring Simona though, if I was a juror, I'd want to vote for Simona. Like, and if the jury was going to vote for Emily over Simona, I know it's not really my decision to speak for the jury, but like seriously, you're going to vote for Emily over Simona. Not to like knock on Emily's game at all, but Simona's played so phenomenally. It just like, it doesn't make any sense why you would not vote for her. She's an amazing player, like all around, physical. Except now, actually, I'm tied for the same amount of challenge points, which yay. She had a great social game. She had a great strategic game, and like, I don't know, like it doesn't make sense in my head why you would ever not vote for Simona, and so that makes me want to get rid of her. The only thing is, Emily does have some really strong connections with some of the jurors compared to Simona, because Simona did make some people angry, I think. And so it just makes it so difficult because I don't know what to do. I don't want to be Cody and take Derek, which Derek being Simona, and just lose. But the thing is, I also don't want to be like, I don't know. I don't want to just bring someone, and I'm just proud of myself for winning. I'll do that. Either way, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I hope it turns out. I hope it's the right decision.
Okay, we are here at the final three. Sean has one final individual immunity, guaranteed spot in the final two. What's going to happen now is Simona and Emily will both have a few minutes to pitch their case to Sean as to why they should take them over the other person. Let's go ahead and start with Simona.
Damn. I mean, I don't really want to play against Emily, like, at all. I think you know both of our games pretty well. You've been here, you know who's rooting for who on the jury. And I think at the end of the day, that is what it comes down to. But yeah, I've loved playing this game with you and getting to know you better overall. I'd love to sit in the end with you, but if you choose Emily, I understand.
Emily?
I mean, quite frankly, I fought my ass off to be here. The last immunity I won was like the second week, I think. Like, I fought my ass off. That's it.
Sean, before we make your decision, you can say anything you'd like.
Yeah. So to both of you, I'm like, whenever I said I didn't have my mind made up, like, I really still don't. I love both of you, honestly. Emily, no matter how many times you half lied to me in this game, then claimed to be telling the truth, it's okay. Simona, I'm so glad I actually got to know you, besides just getting pre-jury in games that we were always in together. And because we actually are so smart. Oh my gosh. Like, what? I don't know. I had so much fun with both of you, honestly, and this whole season was great. So I promise whatever decision I do make, it's not personal. If you're mad at me, I understand, because I basically promised both of you guys final two at one point or another. So yeah, if you like, go tell the jury not to vote for me. It's my fault. I shouldn't have done what I said beforehand. But I love you both. Yeah, thanks for both being my friends this season.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to say?
Makes dramatic faces. Okay, against Emily, I have Evan, Steven, honestly, probably Drew, probably Dalton. I think Simona would end up voting for me. And against Simona, I'd probably have Evan, EJ.
Steven. Love you, Steven. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to vote Simona out. Oh, but it's the right move, I think. Oh, why is this the hardest vote the whole season? Gosh, I never care about people. I promise I wasn't pulling your leg whenever I said I really was thinking about this the whole time. I genuinely didn't know what I was gonna do as this video clip started rolling. I know it's the right move. I really hope you forgive me and vote for me. And if you don't, I understand. If you
Okay, are you both here? Emily?
Yeah.
I do have the last vote. And I just want to say before anything, this has been a fantastic season. I'm excited to see how Final Tribal Council plays out. But as of right now, the 14th person voted out of Survivor, Pangea, the 7th and final member of our jury, is Simona. Simona, the tribe has spoken.
I'm sorry, Simona. I love you.
He's gonna win like unanimously. You know that, right?
Emily is?
Yeah.
I felt like I was gonna lose to both of you guys. I really did.
Simona, you may say your final goodbyes if you have anything left to say.
I mean, congrats, Emily. Sean, I think you messed up. You're gonna lose like 6-1, if you even have Steven's vote, but that's all I really have to say.
Love you, Simona. I'm sorry.
Simona, the tribe has spoken. Please head on out. All right.
Do I just leave?
Yeah, just end.
Simona, we're gonna have
Video
like
or
the best
something
time
like
in Ponderosa for a day.
Right.
Just turn off your video. That's fine. That'll work. All right. Sean and Emily, you guys have officially made it to the final tribal council. One of you two will be the winner of Survivor Pangea, the very first winner of Reality Outcast, and the winner of $35 title of Soul Survivor. Congratulations to the both of you. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time Zone will be the beginning of the final tribal council, where you will make your plea, and then the power will be turned over to the jury, where they will ask you questions and then ultimately vote for the sole survivor. Head on out.
Hey guys, it's Simona. So Sean voted me out. Third or last juror or whatever is nothing new to me, I guess. I am surprised. I think you made the wrong choice. Emily had people who were clearly rooting for her in jury, and I had Drew. Like, that was all I had. Emily had Ryan and EJ, and on the way out, Evan said he was gonna vote for her too. That's 3 out of the 4 votes she needed to win, and so he chose to sit next to her. Like, an interesting choice. And he said he thought he was losing to both of us, and so I guess the fact that he'd rather lose to Emily hurts a little bit when I've been a lot more loyal to him overall. But that's okay. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, I'll be honest. I took the risk of trying to recenter my water bottle on my cup because I was pretty confident that with Sean winning, I would be sitting in the final 3. And I knew that if I won, I wasn't going to be able to send Emily home. And I didn't want to lose to Emily. So I took the risk, and I think he made a mistake. Do I think I played better strategically? Yes. Socially? No. She had more people voting for her, and it doesn't really matter who played better if someone's gonna have the jury rooting for them regardless. So I do think Sean made the wrong decision, not because it was me, not because I'm bitter, but because I think objectively it was the wrong decision. But that's on him, and he'll face those repercussions at Final Tribal Council. I think I played the fuck out of this game, and I can't say I'm upset with the from flip-flopping in the pre-jury, going on a dominant immunity streak in the early jury, to being able to rely on people in the end of jury until the very, very last minute. I proved that I didn't need the immunity wins, but they helped. And I proved that I can play this game. I'm proud of the game I played 45 days later. And I'm happy for Emily. She was my final two from day one, so I'm glad that she can take home this win. And, yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for a great season, guys. Bye.
So I brought out Simona. I feel so bad, especially whenever Drew went, and then she said, "You're losing unanimously." I was like, so that was really awkward. I don't think I'm losing unanimously, but I'm just gonna think about this all night now. Like, yeah, it's the night of like day 38 or whatever our count is, but I'm honestly kind of stressed out. I feel like I 100% I think I can make a better case than Emily. I really do think I have a better case to win the game. I don't want to be too cocky because I basically have been the whole season way too cocky. But I'm here, so hopefully I can just swing the right chairs my way and hopefully.
Okay. Welcome back to Final Tribal Council. This is the point in the game where the power shifts from the castaways to the jury. These 7 jurors are going to choose between either Sean or Emily for the winner, the title of Sole Survivor, and $35 that comes with it. At this time, we're going to give both Emily and Sean a few minutes to plead their case to the jury as to why they should win. And after that, it'll be followed by jurors' questions, statements to the finalists. And after that, we will end it all with final statements from both the finalists. And after that, we will get to the final vote of the season. Emily will go first. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Emily. You probably know that. I'm just gonna start off by saying that I really loved playing the game with all of you. I really enjoyed this experience. My experience almost got short when I almost got sent to a menstrual institution in the middle of the game, and that almost that happened. But I really enjoyed playing the game, and the connections I made, quite frankly, I made really good friends from this game, and my friendships that I had previously grew stronger. And there was a point in the game where it really just shocked me how close my bonds were with these people. At the beginning of this game, my initial alliance off the bat was Drew, Simona, and Dalton. We had a 4-person alliance. We had a final 4. It was a thing, and it did not last very long. The first couple votes were easy. I actually did win the first 2 immunities, and then got sent to exile like the 4th time. So those were like pretty easy for me. I tried to like stay out of it having immunity. A lot of the time I just kind of wanted to like sit in the back. I mean, obviously Bryce quit, and then with the Daryl vote, I almost got sent to a menstrual institution on that vote. So I was dealing with my own issues there. I was a part of the Julia blind side. I actually wasn't physically there for the Julia blind side. I kind of just was a number on that. And at that point, I kind of just tried to stay in the back more, because I knew with these big personalities, Drew, Simona, Dalton, they're clearly going to want this power. They like know that they're strong players versus like me, who like, I'm like not known to be as strong as them, kind of a little stupid sometimes. So I kind of just took the back on that, and I was like, I'm a chill for now. For now was the big point, because I definitely at a point chose to stand my ground. After I came back from exile, the game was fucking wild. Marcy had left, and there was definitely sides. At that point, it was I could either vote and cause a tie or make a majority going with Drew and Simona. And all of those people. And I had a really good conversation with Sean M. And I personally just did not want to vote out Sean M at all. I had promised him that I was not going to, and I didn't want to play the game where I was going to lie to him immediately. So I chose to stand my ground against my my alliance. And I like sided with Dalton on this side. And I was like, I'm gonna keep Sean M, and I fought for Sean M to stay, but unfortunately he did end up leaving. But it brought me super close to Ryan, which Ryan was one of my closest allies. Love that girl to literal death. I mean, we grew a friendship like from this game, so that's kind of irreplaceable. I got super close with her, and obviously later in the game she got herself rocked out for me, which was unbelievable. I can't believe that my friendship with her and like EJ, I can't believe both of them put themselves in a position where they were willing to go at a 50-50 shot in rocks, knowing that one of them was going to leave for me. And that was crazy. But like back to the timeline a little bit. After Sean M left, that was when Jesse left after that, and I feel like that's when I really showed where I was in the game, because I went psycho, and during the vote I was like, I'm not doing this shit. Like, Jesse does not deserve to be here. Jesse just like, it wasn't happening. And I straight up go to Dalton and I'm just like, I'm doing Jesse. I am doing Jesse. There is no other option. I am voting Jesse. And Drew and Simona really wanted to do Jesse too at that point, but I feel like I was really the one who was like forceful on it. I was like, I am doing Jesse, and there's nothing you can do to stop me. And then Jesse left, and I feel like that was like a point where people realized that me and EJ were getting close, because EJ did actually vote Jesse with us because I told him that the votes were going that way. And I feel like that's when people kind of were like, wait, Emily and EJ are a little bit closer than we thought. Jackson leaving was just really sad. Like, it had to happen. At that point, I thought that it was smartest for my game. I knew for Drew and Simona, it wasn't necessarily smartest for them, but I didn't want to risk having a so-so 4-person alliance. If I had a 4-person alliance, regardless if we ended up flipping on Dalton in the moment, I was like, I don't want to risk another 4-person alliance if we have a 4-person alliance. But then at that point, Dalton was just playing a pretty messy game, and we just like, everyone was voting him. I really didn't want to vote him that tribal. I wanted him to leave, but I didn't want to actually vote him. I felt terrible doing it, and I really tried to get it so we didn't all have to vote Dalton. But then at that point, Drew and Simona were just like, no, like, let's just all do it. Like, we all got to take the bullet on this one. And I was like, fuck, okay. But then poor Steven got rocked out, and I swear to God, I am a witch. You can't tell me that like I am not a witch at that point. I straight up said Steven is leaving, and it was like, first person rocked out, Steven. And I was like, I'm a witch. I'm a fucking witch. But I feel like that shows that I was willing for one time to put myself at risk for Drew. Like, my friendship with Drew was strong enough for me to do that. But I unfortunately was also willing to do that for EJ, because Drew tried to pull an Emily Jesse vote on me. He was like, I'm voting EJ. There's nothing you can do. I'm voting EJ. And I was like, I know this trick. I pulled this trick. And I was like, okay, I'll just vote EJ in the revote then. And then in the revote, I was like, okay, I'm voting EJ because I didn't want Simona and Drew to flip and vote Ryan. And quite frankly, I felt comfortable going into rocks again, and I didn't leave. So I feel like that was one of the turning points in my games, because I really showed that like I was not scared of anyone. Like, I wasn't scared to put myself at risk, and I was going to stay loyal to the people I gave my loyalty to. Next page. After that, let me just read. I'm having a moment. that's when my dear Ryan got rocked out, and that was probably the worst tribal council that I attended in this game. I definitely cried at that tribal council. I was a mess. I remember even after that tribal council, I sent a voice memo to like my confessional chat, and I was like, I can't believe that like the friendships that I've made in this game and the connections that I have made in this game led me to a point where they were willing to put themselves at a 50-50 risk, knowing that one of them was going to leave and we were going to be in a minority regardless for me. I was really shocked because I do personally have trust issues. So it was like putting my full trust in these people, and I would have done the exact same thing for them. I mean, I did go to Rocks 3J, and it was just a really big, like, it was an eye-opening moment for me because I just felt like it showed that the connections that I made were not only just like game connections, that they were like real, genuine connections. After that, EJ unfortunately left, and I feel like my connection with Simona on that vote really did save me. I feel like had Simona just been like willing to vote me, I would have easily left. I know that Sean and Evan probably wanted me gone more than EJ at that point. I feel like I really do owe my life to Simona on that one, because I feel like I easily could have left that tribal, and I probably would have been a smart move for me to leave that tribal. But my friendship with Simona, I mean, I love that girl. That girl is my best friend. I don't know if y'all know that, but that girl is my best friend. Is my best friend. And I'm proud to say it. But then I went into fire, which was absolutely terrifying. Simona, thank you for giving me the option to go into fire instead of just getting rid of me. I've lost multiple fire comps that are jigsaw puzzles before, so I really just didn't feel that confident going into it, but I pulled it out and I beat Evan, so that was like a W in my book. And then during the final immunity, I feel like I could have gone so much further in the final immunity, but my arm was like bent rather than like it being straight. So I was the first one to drop in the final immunity comp, and at that point, I felt like I was most likely leaving. I feel like no one really wanted to sit next to me at the end, even if like Simona and I had a final two since day one. Like, I really didn't feel like she wanted to take me to the end. I feel like she's the type of player who would make that move to like take me out at the final three. So I didn't feel 100% confident. Quite frankly, I thought that Sean was getting rid of me, and the fact that I'm even here to plead my case is a blessing. So thank you, Sean. That's it. Thank you. I'm a long speaker and I suck at speaking, but thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Sean, it is now your turn.
Okay, so I kind of have a big speech prepared too about like my play-by-play through the game. Would you guys rather me do that at the end or now, so you can like possibly like adjust your questions to it? Ice?
Do as you please.
Did you say do it now?
Yeah, I think you should, because I wanna like hear before I ask questions.
Yeah, and Emily just did her. I said Emily just did hers. Just do yours now, I guess.
Okay, I was gonna wait till the end because
I might have to bump up forward to ask my question because I do have to go in like 20 minutes. But you just do your speech, and I'm gonna.
Yeah,
listen
you
to it.
should do now. I think.
Okay, so from the start of this game, unlike Emily, I really didn't have a big group of people coming in, but I will say that one of the very first moves that I made in this game was going straight to Emily and saying, hey, I figure that you, Emily, Dalton, Simona, and Drew are gonna be a group, which lo and behold, apparently I was 100% right. She even told me just yesterday that Dalton and Drew actually were after me. So apparently I had a lot of work cut out for me. So I had to start making relationships right away. So what I did was I started trying to make connections with these players that I didn't really know as well. Like Simona and I had never really talked or formed a relationship prior to this game that was strong. And so I started to become really good friends with her. The same thing with Steven and Jackson, I did. And then even Evan and I started to talk from a really early point in time in the game.
During one challenge, I threw an immunity necklace to Ryan, hoping that I was going to be able to get something out of it. And then especially EJ, he was probably the closest person I had in this game, except that I knew beforehand besides Emily. Going through the pre-merge, there was a lot of situations that I was like, whoa, like especially in the final 13, whenever Emily was out on an island. So one of my two close friends was gone, and the second person that was there was EJ, but he wasn't really on. I don't know. And we had like a 6-6 split. And I thought that the only way that I might be able to save myself, besides what Drew and Simona did for me to at least save me up to that point, but the way to avoid rocks, I went straight to Sean M, and we talked about trying to split the vote. And originally I was going to try and go for Dalton, but he didn't want to do Dalton. So they said Simona, and I said, no, there's nothing. I said, well, yeah, sure, let's do Simona. And I let them keep their vote split, and it even avoided rocks for what we didn't know, but would be the first of 4 times if we did have that rock draw also. Then in the final 12, we had another situation where I still have a question about this, but it tied between my closest ally at this point, Steven, and then Sean M. So I really didn't want to vote Sean M, but I ended up doing it because I feel one place where me and Emily's games differed a lot is that I wasn't afraid to separate the game from my emotions. I made moves that I thought were best for me, regardless of what the outcome would be, because I felt that the relationships I made were true. And even if people were mad at me past this game, it would be something that we could resolve. And I could understand if they were mad at me in this game, but the relationship was something that meant more to me outside of it. So it wasn't going to really be that big of a deal for me to make the move that I thought was the best for my game. And then on the revote, I need to know, Evan, did you actually flip on the revote whenever Sean M went home?
Yes, I actually flipped. I actually did flip. And then I heard Jesse actually flip too. So I don't know, it was a whole mess.
Well, Jackson and I got to work trying to flip Jesse, and we were actually able to do that, which apparently somebody must have flipped the other way, or Jesse didn't flip at all, which is just really confusing. But then going into the final 10, I had another really great intuition moment because I had my idol that nobody knew about except for Dalton because Marcy had told him that. And so Dalton was like going for my neck so much, and like I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so I got to do something about this. I knew that I had me, Jackson, EJ, and Steven as a really close group before. We didn't really have like an official group before, but we had been voting consistently together. And it was something that I was kind of feeling comfortable with. And Steven can confirm this, but right before the votes got revealed, I said, I have a bad feeling, but not about you. I think Jackson's about to go home. And he was like, I think you're right. And then that happened. So this kind of began my story of managing my idols because I had the one from earlier, and then my relationship with EJ actually proved really beneficial because he told me about a fake idol that he had hidden. So I was able to take that, and then Drew was able to come to me and be like, hey, let's do Dalton. And I was like, perfect. So I played a fake idol knowing I was going to stay. And I pretty much completely got rid of the rumor that anybody thought that I had an idol. I was able to still get Dalton out and then have me, EJ, Steven still going strong going into the final 8. Along with this, me and Evan had been working really closely together for a long time, and nobody really knew it because we kept working from opposite sides. We kept saying we wanted to come together, and we knew that right after this was the perfect time. So after this, me, Evan, EJ, and Steven came up with the plan to get Drew out. Obviously, it was one vote too early, but because Emily and I's relationship was strong enough, I knew that the worst thing that was going to happen to me was a tie. I knew that the votes were going to be at least 4 on Drew, and that was strong enough. And so we went for it. I saved my idol again because I knew I was going to be 4 votes on me at worst, 4-4. And then we went to a rock draw. Steven got rocked out, which really sucks because that put me at a really big disadvantage. I actually told Josh, I said, what's the point? I literally have no chance of making it to the end. I had also just voted EJ out in the final 6 of a different game, and then he didn't vote for me to win. And it was a 27-person game. So I had a lot on my shoulders at that point. I really didn't know what my target was at this point, especially because my closest ally just got booted. Going into the final 7, I said I knew that I needed to switch things up as much as I can. And there was this point whenever me and Evan decided we really needed to go to the end together because Jackson, my first final 2, and Steven, my second final 2, both got booted within 3 votes. And so at the final 7, whenever it did tie 3 to 3 to 1, I was able to play it on Evan, which, yeah, I played it on the wrong person. But the point was, I knew I wasn't going to be the one getting the votes. And I played it on someone who I knew was going to solidify my relationship with going to the end of this game. And then one really specific thing that I knew that I needed to do was figure out how to separate Emily and Simona and Drew. Because Steven had told me that Drew is someone that didn't want to go to the end with me. He wanted to go to the end with Drew wanted to go to the end with Steven and Simona. So I knew I couldn't trust Drew, especially on top of the fact that that was Dalton's dying words. So on the revote, or after the revote, it was another tie. And I said, let's get rid of EJ. And this was a really huge move, even though I feel like it didn't really seem like it, because I was never going to let EJ actually go. But it exposed Emily's place in the game, and it placed some distrust between Simona and Emily, because I was able to say, I want EJ out, because I was the one, me and Evan were the ones who were flipping to cause a rock draw. And that made Emily have to expose her, because she self-voted on the revote, so she didn't have to choose a side. But by me saying that, it totally negated the entire purpose of self-voting, and it still made her say, okay, I'm choosing Ryan and EJ over Drew and Simona. And so by those standards, Drew went home by a rock draw, which, I mean, it wasn't the worst thing that could happen, because the other options were me and Emily. So that kind of worked out. But then going into the final 6, me and Simona were talking really closely. We were really open about our games. And this was really whenever Simona and I formed a really close bond, was between these two tribals. On top of this, me and Evan, I found the idol clue right away. I took it to Evan, and we went back and forth. We made a list of the possible numbers, and we went back and forth guessing the certain ones, and he was able to find it. He won the immunity challenge, and I knew I wanted Simona to go to the final 5 with me. And so me and Evan made the plan for him to give me the necklace and then him to play the idol. But also we knew that with me, Simona, and Evan, at worst, 3 against 3, it was going to go to a 3rd rock draw in a row, and it was not going to be between, and me, Evan, and Simona were all going to be safe because of it. And with that, Ryan went home, who was actually my original target. If Evan, I don't know, Evan, if you remember that, but Evan's like, no, we got to get rid of Emily. And I was like, why? But it ended up working out, because Ryan ended up going home anyway. So going into the final 5, I was really wary of the situation that Simona and Emily were really close. But the thing was, it didn't make sense for Simona to flip on me. And I think that's why we really had a trusting, close relationship, because we were so open and transparent about our games, because they were really similar at this point in the game. We were in really similar positions. Me and Evan came up with an idea to do a 2-to-1 to 1-to-1 split, but EJ would not vote Emily, EJ would not vote for Simona. And because of that, I knew that we had to go with Simona and vote EJ out. And so I wanted Emily out, but it wasn't happening. So I was able to get EJ out whenever I was receiving 2 votes, which I knew was a possible chance for me to go home. Then going into the final 4, it was me, Simona, Evan, and EJ, or not EJ, Emily. And I wanted Emily out, which I feel like was kind of questionable, but I wanted to put myself into a position where I thought Simona and Evan were both going to take me to the final 2, regardless of who won the last challenge. So I won the final 4 challenge. I stuck with Evan because I thought Evan was going to be someone who would take me, and I thought Simona would too. I'm not speaking for either of them saying they would. That's just what I thought. And Evan lost. So I was like, oh no. So I was like, okay, I've got to kick it into high gear for this last challenge. It is do or die for me. I don't know what either of them are going to do, because Emily told me that they had a final 2 since the beginning. Again, I'm not speaking for either of them saying that I knew what either of them were going to do. But from my perspective, I knew that it was up to me to make the moves to get me, or to win the challenge, to get myself to the end. So I won the challenge, and it was my 5th immunity win, which actually is tied with Simona for the most this season. We literally killed the physical challenges. And I was so excited. And this was the biggest decision for me in the game, because I had to decide between someone who I had been so transparent with, who had formed such a close relationship with toward the end and played so strategically and socially close with, and then someone like Emily, who had played a completely opposite ball game with me. And the truth is, going into it, I really did not know what I was going to do. Even as I was standing there, trying to cast a vote, I went back and forth all the time, counting jury votes. And I felt like I was in a position where no matter who I picked, it was going to be the wrong one. My gut said do Simona, and I decided that that was the right move, because between Emily and Simona, if I really think that both Simona and I played kind of similar games, but Simona did it better than me, then I knew that if I think I deserve to win, that I should vote Simona out, because up until that point, there was nobody who was more deserving of winning this game than Simona. And if I thought that I was going to beat her in the final three, there was absolutely no logical reason for me to take her, because she was unbeatable against anybody. So I voted Simona out, and before I did it, I literally said, if you're mad at me, I understand, because the thing is, I really messed up in that tribal council compared to any other one throughout the entire season. That was one where I didn't necessarily make the personal distinction between personal and gameplay, because I did lie a lot more in that tribal council than I had any leading up to it. And I really led her into a brick wall. And I think that, or into a corner. And I really think that if there was one thing in this game I would fix, it would be that tribal council. I felt like I had made a lot of moves that I felt solid about. And while I still think I did make the right move, everything going up into that was what was wrong with it. But yeah, I really feel like there were many times when I was on the bottom. I had a lot of the cards stacked against me from the very beginning. I didn't have a 4-person alliance going with me. I flipped to help so many different people throughout this game, and I made so many different close relationships that I couldn't have even predicted from one vote before. Me and Evan formed a close relationship. Me and EJ formed a great relationship. Steven became literally one of my best friends on here. Emily and I got even closer than what I knew before. I created such a great friendship with Simona, because working with her was one of the craziest duos that I've ever had. She is literally so smart. And whenever we were working together, literally, I don't think there could have been a single vote that could have stopped us. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for a great season, because I had a blast with this game. As Drew said, this like reignited a love of Survivor. It was so much fun. We had it all this season, and I think everybody really challenged every single other person to play the best that we could. And I think that's what made it so enjoyable. So yeah, even with 3 rock draws, it was a crazy game. I had so much fun. So yeah, thanks everyone.
All right, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Emily. We are going to now transition to the jury. Ryan is literally sitting in the parking lot of the place that she needs to be, so we're going to let her go first. Thank you.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, I saw some nods, so we're gonna go with it. Okay, first of all, you guys had like both great speeches. Took forever. I'm sitting, literally, I can see the people I'm supposed to go be eating with right now, but it's okay because y'all deserve to say your piece. Okay, so you guys don't apologize. It's okay. No, you guys played like very different games as Sean stated. So I have a question for each of you. Sean, Emily made a lot of risks in this game, going to rock draws, you know, causing tie votes. What is the riskiest thing you did in this game?
Thanks for the question, because actually I had a specific section. Originally, I kind of went off the script whenever I went to that, just because I felt it really naturally coming to me as I was talking. But I actually thought originally, whenever I had planned speech out, I had kind of based it around taking risks, because I think that I played a very risky game. And one of the things that I had done was I had almost always set myself up in a position where no matter what the risk was that I took, I was always going to have something to fall back on. Like playing the fake idol instead of a real one in a situation where I didn't exactly know where everybody stood because everyone had flipped on me a vote before. I was able to play fake one, and I also had to rely on EJ not telling everybody, because EJ also knew that it was a fake idol. Then I had to not play my real idol in a vote where one of my final twos got half the votes when I got half the votes. And then even whenever I did play the idol, I didn't even play it on myself, because I knew that forming that relationship with Evan was so much more important than saving myself in whatever was going to come. Then also, one risk that I made was voting Emily in the final 4, which it seems like I wanted to make this distinction because I wanted everyone to know I wasn't going to follow, like, I wasn't blindly following Evan or whatever, like, oh, I'm just going to go to, like, there was a strategic reasoning for it. And I wanted to put myself in a position, because in my head, getting Emily out in the final 4 was going to basically guarantee me a chance in the final 2. Whenever Emily won that challenge, it actually like basically declined it to like 33%. And in my head, the only way that I was going to make it was basically if I won the challenge, which is what ended up happening. So that was cool, but I still had that fallback. I had an option, and every time that I did have a fallback option, I ended up using it perfectly to my advantage and being able to run with it and rebuild back up from where either a risk paid off or where it went wrong, and I had to bring it back up so that way I was up to speed with the rest of the game.
All right, and Emily, I have a similar question for you, but like very different at the same time, not similar at all. You played a very loyal game where you put yourself in danger for your allies many times. What do you think would have been a point in the game where you would have flipped on, say, like me or EJ? Like, at what point would you have done it, or would you just not have done it at all?
I don't think I would have flipped on you at any point. I feel like at like possibly Final Four, I would have flipped on EJ just based on the fact that I was closer to Simona, but I didn't trust him. Like, I was closer to Simona on a personal level, but on a game level, me and Simona were never on the same level, and I knew that she would always have my back, but it was never like this was Simona and this was me. Different, like, we went back and forth. We did not have similar mindsets throughout this game, but I feel like at a point I would have chosen Simona over EJ. And then had I gotten to choose between Sean and Simona, I really did debate back and forth whether or not I was going to flip on Simona in that moment. And I don't think I would have, because I felt like if I was going to win and if I wanted to win, that I wanted to beat Simona. You know, like, I wanted to be able to have that challenge, and I wanted to prove that I did play a good game, like a phenomenal game, in my opinion.
Thank y'all. Y'all did great. I'm so proud of both of you. I gotta go. Goodbye.
Bye, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan, for that. Next, we are going to move on to Drew, since he is hosting fairly soon. So.
Thank you. Yeah, like 20 minutes. Okay, guys. So typically I come into final tribal councils and I have a lot of questions and things that I want to ask. But I think for today, I have statements that I would like to make. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with Emily. Emily, you held my life in this game in your hands. You had the ability to save me or send me to rocks, and you chose to send me to rocks. You chose in that moment to value Ryan and EJ over me, and you're the reason that I'm out of the game. All the times that I got on Discord, every conversation, everything I did, gone because of you. Because you made an emotional decision and decided to keep people that you were tighter with. I, in this game, made an emotional decision, and I sent home Jackson. And I think that move hurt my game. I think your move benefited your game. You came into this game with a close personal connection with me, but chose working game relationships that were also personal because they benefited you going forward. And I think that's something that needs to be applauded. I want to say good job, and I think you played a great game. Sean, I think that you played a great game too. Coming into tonight, I definitely thought less of your game than hearing your speech and everything. And now I'm thinking, wow, Sean had a lot more going on than what I gave him credit for. Coming into this final tribal council, I am leaning towards Emily, and I've been leaning towards Emily, but I'm listening, and I'm here to continue to listen to everything you have to say. My vote is going to the person that I think deserves it. So congratulations to the both of you. Best of luck. Great game. And I can't wait for a winner to be crowned. That's it.
Thank you, Drew. Simona, you are next.
Cool. Caught me a little off guard. That's okay. Expected to go last. Queen goes last. No, I'm kidding. So, damn, I've got a lot to say to you guys. This is definitely difficult. And at the end of the day, I think I know where my vote is going, but I'm unsure. I'm torn in the same way that I was going to be torn if I had won that final immunity challenge and threw it to Sean, expecting that he would take me to the end. But with that being said, question. Okay. Emily, my question to you is, you say that our relationship was very personal and not entirely game related. And I know that, and that was true. And we were on very different pages throughout the game. In what ways did you use our personal relationship to benefit your game relationship? Or game
I feel like
situation?
at the final five, I definitely specifically used our personal relationship to my benefit, because I knew that there was no way that you were going to take me out then, and I really didn't even question you on it that much. I kind of just showed you that I was putting this trust in you because of our personal relationship. I knew that you weren't going to do it, and I really was really hoping that Sean and Evan were going to vote me, and you were going to have to make a choice between me and Sean in that moment, because I thought that that was my best shot in that game. And even though you may have chosen to get rid of me, I just think based on our personal relationship that you weren't going to do that. So I feel like specifically at the final five, our personal relationship really benefited my game, because it probably would have been me if not EJ.
Sean, my question to you. So we talked a lot about endgame scenarios, and like you said, we were pretty open with each other about our opinions on things. And I was very honest with you, and I didn't think sitting next to Emily was going to be the right move for you. But if Emily had lost to Evan in Fire, you're right, that probably would have been a better situation for you, which is why I sent it to Fire, because I didn't want you to necessarily have a guaranteed spot in the end over me. So my question to you is, if Evan had one Fire and you still had one final immunity, do you think you would have done anything differently?
If I was with Evan, I think I'm gonna say no. I think I still would have voted you out. And I say that because if I said I voted Evan out, then that basically negates anything that I said earlier. Whenever I said I thought that you played the best game. If I am trying to base my decision, what really did happen, on that I did think you played the best game, that's why I voted for you, I feel like I can't say, oh no, I would have voted Evan out, because then it sounds like, oh, I'm trying to please you both with a double-edged statement, Yeah, I don't know. I think that Evan played a really great underdog game, and I think that he had a really big come from behind. And our duo, like me and Evan working together, definitely was super fun and great to go with. But yeah, I can't say I know how anybody would have voted in that final tribal council. I think that's really why I was so split between you and Emily, because I knew how we talked a lot about how we did know how some people would vote, but it was just the question marks that we didn't know. We really just didn't know, and we didn't know exactly if we wanted to leave it up to chance. So yeah, I think I'm just going to stick with it and say that I probably still would have voted you out.
Cool. All right. Well, best of luck to you both. Yeah.
Thank you, Simona. EJ, you are up next.
Can you guys all hear me? Okay. I didn't necessarily have any planned questions coming into this. And then after both of you guys' lengthy explanations of your game, I feel like most of my questions I could probably even think of have been answered. So I just want to take this time to say that to both of you, I've recently met both of you, and I've been super grateful for the relationships that we have crafted together. And it's been a blast to get to know more about each of you. And I do think that both of you guys have played very different but incredible games. And either way that this vote ends up going, you both earned so much respect from me, and I think everybody else on the jury. So 2 thumbs up, because you guys both killed it. And that's all from me, honestly.
Thank you, EJ. Next, we have Evan.
Okay. So I think both of you guys played phenomenal. And I think coming into this vote, it was extremely hard for me to choose for which one I wanted to vote for. And originally I had a different question that I'm about to ask. But my question to both of you guys, and Sean, you can answer first, it doesn't matter, is what was your biggest regret in this game?
Do you want to go first, Emily? Oh, wait, were you saying me go first?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Either one of you guys.
Want to go first, Emily? Me first? Okay. Like I said earlier during my speech, I think my biggest regret was that one moment where I suddenly put my relationships in jeopardy with the final three. I felt like I had done a really good job balancing between relationships. Like going through the game, if I was voting someone, basically everybody knew who I was voting, every single tribal council, and yet it was never really enough steam to get anything against me. Um, Even into the final three, I just didn't know where it was really going to be. And especially with Emily saying that they had a final two together, it just kind of really put question marks up in my head. And so I was just doing what I could to make sure I make sure I was going to stay no matter what, because I really thought that there was no chance that I was going to win that final challenge. And so whenever I did, I was so proud of myself, but I knew it put me in a position where I was going to have to make a difficult decision. And even as Simona had just said, like, I think she said that she threw it, expecting me to take her, but it was a hard position for all three of us, if any of us would have won it, to do, because I think all three of us really did see like the different aspects of different games, but I just thought that I didn't have a chance if I wasn't going to win it. And so I was doing whatever I could to get that edge, to increase my odds from what might have been 100%, which went down to 33%, but I still won the last challenge to make it up to it. So it didn't even end up being necessary. And I think if I would have just waited until after I won the challenge to start making my pleas, it might have been different. But yeah, I think that's just about it.
Okay. Hey. My biggest regret is probably not reaching out to people as much as I should have in certain portions of the game. I really did rely on people that I trusted, and I mean, I don't think that I spoke to Steven until after I like voted Steven one-on-one, and that was a big regret of mine, just because I feel like since Drew and Simona did have such this tight relationship with him, I was missing out on that, and I saw my like relationship with them slipping away, because going into this, it was supposed to be Simona was my final two and Drew was my final two, but then they became a final two. And I feel like not creating these bonds with other people really did drive me away from them.
Good.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, like I said, good luck to both of you guys. I actually don't even know who's voting for who, so I think it's definitely down to these last jury statements is where these people are going to vote. So good luck.
Thank you, Evan. Stephen, you are next.
All right, let me sit up for this. Okay. So, first of all, I just want to say that this was my first Discord game and it was a lot of fun. It's definitely very different than what I was used to, and I think I really made some good long-lasting friendships here, and I'm really excited about that. Sean and Emily, congratulations. This is awesome for you guys. You guys both played great games. But that being said, I think my vote is pretty locked tonight. Sean, I think after Jackson left, we linked up really closely. I think that, I mean, all those times where when we were plotting against Drew, or like, I don't know, it was all just fun. But my vote isn't being cast tonight based on friendship. It's being cast on the way that you played the game. And I think that, honestly, you made the right move cutting Simona, because I think no matter what she says, I think Simona wins unanimously or near unanimously. So I disagree with whatever's being said that you made the wrong move. I think you made the exactly right move. I think your entire game was outwit, outplay, outlast. Outwit, the fake idol play, you didn't tell me about it. I cannot wait to rewatch that tribal. My face is shocked. I have no idea what's happening. You told me after and I was like, that's genius. Outplay, you won the last two immunity challenges to secure your spot in the final two, and who knows what would happen after that. And Outlast, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. But Emily, too, congratulations, both of you. I can't wait to see how this plays out. It's been a crazy season. We had 3 rock draws, like unprecedented things happened. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful for everyone I met here. Like, it was a ton of fun, and good luck to you both.
Thank you, Stephen. And last, but definitely not least, we have Dalton.
Well, we saved the best for last, didn't we? No, I was joking. What's up? What is your boy Dotson? First I just want to say you have both belittled me. You have talked shit about me all season, and I'm sick of it. And if I had a choice, I would not vote either of you. I would love to self-evict from jury. Besides that, I would just like to say you both have played amazing games. Emily, we worked so and so. And then Sean, I mean, I don't think me and you really talked any game at all. But after hearing both of you, I think you both do deserve to be in the final 2. My question to you both is, whichever one want to go first, you can go first. The game of Survivor, I should know, is about outwit, outlast, and outplay. I want to know, what do y'all think is your strongest suit of the 3, and why? Oh, that's it. Y'all go ahead.
Do you want to go first since I went first last time?
I feel like probably outplay, because I feel like I really did. I should not have hit my dad pen that hard. I feel like I really showed this season that I really dumbed myself down so much. And I feel like I showed that I was, making moves. I did choose. I literally had Drew's life in my hand and I crushed it. I fed him to the sharks, as Drew would say. I feel like I showed that I am a smart player. I feel like I really proved myself on that, because going into this, I know that I'm seen, like in the fandom at least, as a dumb player. I'm not exactly the smartest person. You can probably tell by the way I speak. I'm just not exactly the smartest person, but I feel like I proved that I know this game and that I am smart enough to play this game. I feel like I did make quite a bit of moves. I feel like some of them were bigger than others and some of them took out bigger targets than others, but I feel like all of them benefited me, and specifically me only. A lot of them did fuck over some of my allies, like Simona, and I feel like even though I did play a loyal game, I feel like I still did have a lot of moments where I fucked over people that I did care about.
Okay, so for me, I'd say that Outlast is my strongest one. Coming into this game, I did not have a 4-person alliance that was basically just, I know wasn't like the strongest thing ever. There were plenty of problems throughout the road of the game, but I still didn't have that stability going into the game. And so I had to start from way more scratch, talking to as many people as I could. And I could never throw a single relationship away. I had to make sure that every single step that I made was calculated, it was good, and it was true. And I just wanted to keep talking to people and making relationships, so that way, whenever it did come to the crunch time, and really what for me apparently was the very beginning, because I had people after my neck from day one, apparently, I had those relationships to fall back on always. And no matter what, if someone came after me, they always ended up being the one that ended up going home before me. One example of that, I guess, is you. That's the prime example. We voted each other openly like way too many times. Then I had so many deals with people, and they always ended up being the one that had the more I guess they didn't have their loose ends tied up like I did. For one example, there was Jackson. I won the challenge, and apparently I needed to win that challenge way more than I knew. But the thing was, I don't exactly know if I wouldn't have played the idol then, because I did know Jackson was going home based on what Emily had told me. Even going into the final 8, I had Steven, and then, I mean, he went to Rock Drive. That's not really his fault. But that was another situation in which I outlasted my partner, but I had to rebuild again. And I had to go back to the different corners of the game. I didn't leave like any, I wanted to make sure that from that point on, I had crossed the bridges with everybody that I could. Like there was never a point in the game whenever I said that that possibility is completely out of play. So that's why I think that Evan and I became so close, because I didn't let that die. Whenever you left, the one thing you said was don't trust Drew, and me and Steven talked about that nonstop, and we said no, we can't trust Drew, and that's how we knew we could work with Evan, and that's why Evan and I really did grow so close together. We were able to, I was able to then outlast Drew, who I don't know exactly if he was after me. I don't think he was at that point, but there's no question he wasn't going to go to the end with me. It was like, right. I know what you mean. Then going into the final 6, I knew Ryan was not ever planning on going to the end with me. That was clear as day. And I was able to get a rock draw between her and a person who said that he couldn't see himself beating me and he probably wasn't going to take to the end, which was EJ. The next vote in the final 5, EJ once again told me that he was not going to vote for Simona, and he had to vote for me. With that, I knew that I had, I guess I had planned ahead enough, because me and Simona had talked a lot, and so I really trusted her at that point. I knew that what she was going to do is what she said, just because our relationship was so strong and real. I was able to outlast EJ because he was another person that apparently was not planning on going to the end with me, and him and Emily going after me resulted in him going out next. Final 4 and final 3, I won immunity, so I was basically untouchable, and I feel like the moves that I made in both of those tribal councils, even with immunity, were very calculated and thought out, and I was able to outlast Evan accidentally because he lost a challenge, which really sucked. But then even Simona, who I thought was the biggest threat in the game, and I felt like I capitalized at the right moment, and I made the game mine. And that was whenever I felt like, I felt like I had a chance. Sorry, I'll talk faster. I thought I had time.
I was telling Drew time.
Oh, sorry, Drew. Yeah, that's
No,
about
you're
it.
good,
But
I know.
even going up to the end, it was my decision on who the last person was to take out, and I feel like I said, no matter what the decision would have been, it was going to be a bad consequence, and winning that was a risk I was willing to take. I wasn't going to be like, I don't know. I'm sorry how I handled the situation, but unapologetically, I think that was the right move for me. So I feel like I outlasted some really phenomenal players this season through all kinds of different circumstances. And I really think that every single move I made was the reason that I was able to outlast.
Thank you, Dalton, for your questioning. Now it is time for Sean and Emily to give their final statements. This time, Sean will go first.
So I really wish Drew was here for this, because I was going to make a joke about how Drew and I have played together in 2 seasons before this, and both times the other person has won it. And one time I was the deciding vote between him and Emily whenever he won it. So it's really awkward if he doesn't. He owes me one. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. I love Drew. So yeah, in this game, I really feel like as I've gone through this tribal, I have learned that the odds were against me way more than I ever thought. But from the start, I told Josh that this was a game that I was going to win. I literally told him I was going to do what I needed to do, and I was not going to be afraid to form friendships, first of all, and continue to talk to as many people as I could, just for the good of it, and not ever counting anybody out as a person who was definitely a threat to win. I really made risks. I took risks. I made big moves. And all along, I feel like I was never actually in that big of a position to go home until the final 3, whenever I had to win that immunity. And even then, I still don't know what would have happened. I was never I was targeted many times, but even through it, through my relationships with especially Emily, she was someone who gave me plenty of information throughout the game. And while she sold it as truth, she was definitely half lying, but I was able to fill in the other half of it half the time. And it's why I knew that I wasn't really ever going to be in danger because of what she did. I was able to use other people's positions in the game, not only mine, to benefit myself. And I think it's why I was able to be successful in the game. I won 5 immunities, which is tied with Simona for the most of them, and I think that was a really great feat because I remember whenever I won the first one, I was so excited because I never win challenges in games, like ever. And so that was really exciting. I made so many calculated moves, and whether they were big or small, there were plenty of them, and there's not any shortness, what is it, disparity, like of moves that I made. I was never afraid to make the move that I thought was best for me, and I was able to, with one exception, I was able to separate my game moves from my personal life. I really feel like there were many times whenever I was thrown on the bottom, but because of the games that I had set up and the game that I had set up and the relationships that I had in place, I was able to always capitalize, rebuild with different people. And no matter what the situation was, I was able to overcome it. And not only that, but I was able to pull even more out of it. For example, the fake idol, I was able to play the fake idol, but not only that, but I was able to get Dalton out in the same vote. Whenever Drew got rocked out, I was able to also put some distrust between Simona and Emily. Whenever it was the final, I guess that was the 2 examples off the top of my head. But other than that, there were plenty of risks in this game that I took, and I felt like I cared so much about this game, and that's why I was always talking to people. If you were ever like super close to me, you know that I would DM you in the total middle of the day, literally no fucking reason at all, and we would just start talking about the game because it's literally all I can ever think about is this stupid game. I literally, like, I was taking notes with Simona. We would talk about what happened in the game, and there were so many times whenever I felt like I just wanted to win this game so damn bad, and that is why I was doing everything in my power, every single vote after vote after vote. There was never a time for me to just stop playing because I was never in a position where I could be comfortable enough, but at the same time, there was never a position whenever I was really in danger. I took every single situation that I could, I capitalized it, I did what I needed to do, and I did what I wanted to do, and almost every single situation without failure, I kind of knew what was going to happen into it. I don't think there was a single tribal that, besides like a rock draw outcome, where I was genuinely surprised about a vote outcome. Except with the one exception of whenever Emily voted, or whenever they all voted EJ. That was kind of out of left field in the final 7. But other than that, I felt like my relationships always gave me the information that I needed to. And no matter like what was going on, people would still trust me enough, and I really hope that is what's the word, a testimony to the fact that like what I formed with people was real. I made a lot of moves and I made a lot of people angry, and a lot of people don't think I necessarily deserve to be here against social butterfly Emily, but what I did make in this game was real, and I really hope that you guys see that. And yeah, I had so much fun. I know that was a little bit messier, but that was because I kind of expected that to be the end of it. But I really think I outwitted with a bunch of different moves, especially my idol management. I definitely think I outplayed, like Steven said, with the 5 immunities. I definitely think I outlasted because I was constantly in a position where there was always somebody who was going to go before me, even though there were plenty of people targeting me throughout most of the game. So yeah, thanks all for a great season. I feel like I slayed. But anyway, good luck to you, Emily. I love you so much. Besties. Bestie vibes.
Oh my god, not the besties. Good luck to you too. I don't know. I'm just gonna start this with I'm just so grateful to be here because I really did fight my ass off to be here. Not Simona. Simona's claiming me as her bestie. Everyone take that. Simona's claiming me as her bestie. Look at that. Okay. Anyways, I feel like I really proved myself in this game. I took there is a lot of people here that do have like preconceived opinions of me, but there was also quite a lot of people who I didn't know, and if I did know them, it wasn't well. And I feel like I really based my game on that, and I did connect with a lot of those people. I mean, the only game before this that I've ever played with Ryan, she actually got me idled out, and then it came full circle when she literally got rocked for me. I feel like Sean said, I was kind of a social butterfly. I feel like I did play one of the best social games. I really did put my trust in the people that I did talk to, especially when it did come end game time. Like, I put my trust in people, and I mean, it got me here. I feel like I really proved that I can be a smart player. I can do things. I feel like, I mean, I did win immunities, although they were luck. I did win immunities. I won fire, which I'm not exactly the best in that department. I feel like I made the moves that I needed to make. I feel like had I not made those moves, as much as I like did have a good social game and it could have gotten me through without having to make these moves, I could have just like continuously thrown like votes or like played a pussy game. But I feel like I was straight up and I told people what I was going to do and who I was loyal to, and I feel like I didn't need to lie as much. I feel like when I did lie, it was necessary. Honestly, I know I'm not the best at speaking, but I'm acknowledging that, and I feel like I did play a really good game, and I really hope that my final tribal council performance doesn't reflect on that as much. So thank you, and I hope that you still see my gameplay because I really did fight to get here.
Thank you, Sean and Emily. And for the last time this season, we will get to the votes.
Okay, you're good. All right, guys. So I just want to say congratulations to you both for making it here. I want to tell you guys as well that you're lucky that I got rocked out, because I think I might be sitting there and I might be taking the votes from you. But tonight I'm going to cast my vote for the person that I think deserves it and I think played a great game. So my vote is going to go to Emily. Emily, you had a phenomenal social game. And I think that you played circles around a lot of people in this game and people didn't even catch on to it. So congratulations no matter what happens, and best of luck to the both of you. Thank you.
Okay. I'm voting for Sean to win.
So Sean voted me out because he thought he couldn't beat me, but I threw immunity because I thought I couldn't beat Emily and I couldn't be the one to take her out. And so with that being said, using the same logic as Sean did to vote me out, I'm going to be casting my vote for Emily to win the season.
There we go. Okay. Great season. I am very pleased with this outcome, or hopefully. I actually don't know how it's going to go. I loved Sean and Emily both, but I feel like the clear winner is Sean, but I don't know if the jury sees that. Honestly, I don't know if it's just I didn't work as closely with Emily, but I don't really see her big defining moment that makes her deserving of the win, whereas I think Sean has several defining moments. So I'm so glad I got to know this guy over the course of this game. I hope to continue talking to him a bunch. He's a really great guy. He really deserves the win. I am voting for Sean to be the winner of Survivor Pangea.
I'm going to vote for the person that, this is a really hard decision. I think both candidates have played amazing games. But I just got to go with my gut. And I'm going to write it down right now. Just kidding. I already wrote it down. I'm casting my vote for. Good luck.
Oh. No, it's the way that you were supposed to leave when you let me change your name to Sean Stuff. We were like, well,
Was
good
that
thing
like
you
a
changed
thing?
his name to Sean Stuff because he's getting snuffed.
Burn.
And
Burn.
This season has finished. These are the votes, and they will be revealed at the live reunion. I'll see you there.
Burn.
Was that like a bag of
No, wait a minute.